Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the All Sports Podcast with me, Matt, and tonight, James. Hi, James.
Hey guys, you all right?
Good, thanks. Well, you say guys, now people know it's not the dynamic duo again. So, the plural in guys. Joel, how are you, mate?
Hello. Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks very much. Had a busy weekend having a baby. I didn't have a baby. But
And you weren't like that busy, really.
I wasn't that involved, particularly. I even took my Rubik's Cube in my hospital bag. So, and I also took my little pocketbook of garden birds. So,
Keep yourself busy.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there before. I knew there would be a lot of downtime. So, anyway, on tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Euros, and we're going to only talk about the Euros. We'll look at the main groups of interest. We'll have a look at England's chances, the odds. We're going to do a little bit of a spin the wheel sweepstake, and we'll have some predictions. Obviously, winner, best player, top scorer, underachievers, overachievers, that kind of thing. And then anything else that crops up on the pod. So let's kick it off then. Starting with one of the key groups, Group B.
I don't know. Historically, you look at these competitions, and Croatia tends to do quite well. Semi-final in 2018 of the World Cup. They have a bit of an aging squad, but they tend to throw up a surprise result here and there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one of Spain or Italy drop out.
Yeah, a decent side's gonna drop out here, I would say. And from what I've heard, like Albania aren't complete walkovers as well. So, I'm not saying that I think they're going to get through, but they might. Not all three teams are going to pick up 3 points against them. I don't think so. It could just make things a little bit more interesting in those games between the bigger nations. Could be a bit more jeopardy.
Yeah, huge tournament for Italy as well. So they missed the last major championship, didn't they? Did they not get through to the World Cup, did they?
No.
Country with as much heritage these are competitions as Italy do. They can't be missing out on competitions, missing out getting out of the group stage. Quite a lot of pressure on this time.
Yeah, going from day one Euros, last Euros, so they're the reigning champions, and then they weren't in the World Cup, which is absolutely balmy. It should have been an automatic qualifier. It detracted from the World Cup a little bit for me that they weren't there, that you'd have such a strong nation, and it's just done on the qualification rather than any sort of like global seeding, which I think it should be done on. But
yeah, I feel like they've missed the last 2 World Cups, have they? Am I imagining that?
What was the World Cup before that?
2018. Yeah, so they missed. They failed to qualify for both 2018 and 2022, but won the Euros in between.
Prioritising a competition.
Well, you say that, and their Euros record this century is actually very good. I think they have. I think they have 3 finals, 2 defeats, and 1 win.
And then they won the 2006 World Cup as well, didn't they? In there.
Yeah. So they're a weird team. Like they've been lacking a goal scorer for a long time. I think that's still true. I think Scamacca's going to be leading the line because he's had a pretty good end to the season. But like some of the things that made them a really good side at Euro 2020, I mean, it was in 2021, but it was Euros 2020. Yeah. Some of the things that made them a really good side in that tournament aren't there anymore. So like Chiesa was really good, and he's had like a pretty serious injury and not really bounced back to the level that he was at that time. They also had Spinazzola at left back, who was like a bit of a wild card. I think people didn't know a lot about him, and he was like marauding up the left hand side and kind of pulling a lot of opposition players towards him and leaving lots of space for Chiesa and stuff. So they're not as big a factors now. They're going to need to find inspiration from elsewhere. I think they've lost a couple of big names to injury as well. So
you think the Italian teams of past have always been super strong at the back. They had Chiellini and Bonucci, obviously now both at the end of their careers, but they had I think it's Scalvini coming through as maybe one of the next best, and he's done his ACL now, so he's going to miss the Euros.
He's Atalanta, isn't he?
Yeah, he's excellent. But yeah, Chiesa's in the provisional, so he might make an appearance. But yeah, I think the defensive stability that they've had for the last 20 years is definitely rocked by not having Bonucci and Chiellini.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So, you said, Joel, that they don't really have the goal scoring threat that they've previously had. Historically, they've also not needed it, right? They're just so good at not conceding goals. So, if we're saying they've got a little bit more defensive frailty, they've obviously still got Donnarumma in goal. So, having a world-class goalkeeper in goal is still going to be a big factor for them. But how far they can go with a slightly weaker defence and not a lot of attacking threat will be interesting.
Yeah, in that group as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same case with Spain. You have these like generational waves, don't you? Like these two teams are the best international teams for like a 10-year period. And now they're both sort of rebuilding from the back. Like the big names in Spain, your Piqués, your Ramoses, were obviously such a staple in those teams that are now not.
But yeah, a similar issue up front as well. Like Spain are going to be playing Morata, aren't they? And probably Nico Williams one side. Not sure who playing the other. So like fairly young players who you're kind of relying on, and then like a forward who is pretty hit and miss, isn't he, Morata? I think he's had his best league season this season with, I think he got 15. But yeah, they're going to need him to tuck the chances away.
What's that kid called at Barca? Did he make the squad? The 16
Yeah, Lamine Yamal's in the squad. They've got Yoselu as well from Real Madrid, who's obviously had quite a good year there. So they've got options, but they haven't just got the big names that they had in the past. But yeah, Lamine Yamal is meant to be unbelievable at 16 years old.
Is it? I don't want to mispronounce his name now, but it's Pau Cabralsi, isn't it, or something like that? Who's a centre half from Barca as well? I think he's 17.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. They've got quite a nice blend. They've got some of the old boys, Danny Carvalho, Nacho.
So yeah, a young side. Obviously, they've got Rodri in the other park, who's like the best holding midfielder in the world. So, but yeah, it's like, is that in a decisive enough part of the pitch for him to kind of like carry them?
Yeah.
They'll still be good. You know, they've got Pedri, Llorente. They'll be a tough team to get through, but it's just they don't have the names like the English squad and the French probably do that scare a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
Are we really starting to talk down this this ultra strength group?
No, I think it's an interesting group. I don't necessarily know how strong it's going to be, but in terms of who's going to get through it, and there's going to be a big name going out, I think that makes it an interesting group. The other thing here as well is that the coaches for the two bigger nations, so the Spain coach is very inexperienced. Don't think he has a lot of experience in club or international football. And then Spalletti is the Italian coach, and he's only been there 6 to 8 months, something like that. So very new to the role, and like the way that the calendar works with qualifiers at the back end of last year and then pretty much nothing for 6 months until the tournament means that he hasn't really had time to figure out how he's going to play. So it could throw up interesting ways of playing and stuff like that as well.
Definitely. A bit fascinating group. I hope there's one of these teams, where the big teams comes out, doesn't get a win early. They're on the back foot straight away and they're going to struggle. So yeah, that's not nice. The other one that I wouldn't want to be part of is D. You've got the Netherlands, France are in there as well.
Poland and Austria. So people, why are people talking up Austria? I've heard it regularly now that they're the dark horse.
They've got Ralf Ragnick as their manager, who obviously was a former United manager, very tactically astute, got them playing quite good football, and they're difficult to beat. So it's not, it's one of them teams that you're not going to roll them over. It's not an automatic win for anybody.
So is it more like an Iceland sort of level?
I'd say they're better than that.
Yeah, more than that. And like their form, it's because of their form as well. Like since Rangnick has taken over, I think their forms have been incredible. So I think that's more what it is. Like they've got names that you'll recognise. So
like Arnautovic.
Sabitzer, Alaba, those types of names, but not necessarily superstars as well. So I think he's a good coach and like has a clear idea about how he wants to play tactically. So if he can get a squad to buy, I mean, obviously we saw him at Man United and him not really be able to get those ideas across. But if he can get a squad that buy into the way that he wants to play, then he can get results.
Do you think Netherlands could be a bit of a dark horse? I know we've got that later. I just think they've got a good squad. I think they're 18-1 to win it, so maybe the 7th highest. They've just got good players in good primes at the moment, and they've not under-delivered at the World Tournaments. Like they've played okay in the World Cup just been. So yeah, I fancy them to do all right.
They've got like a nice mix of steady, older pros. And then there's a bit of X factor in there as well with Frimpong and Xavi Simons as well.
Exactly that. You've got some blend of people that have been there, won things. You've got De Jong, you've got Van Dijk. These guys have won the biggest competitions.
Is it Simon Simmons that went to Leipzig? Is that the guy?
He's on loan to PSG.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now I understand why people are talking up the Netherlands. But I wouldn't even say dark horse or underdog.
They're so synonymous with football and like these big tournaments. So, but yeah, they've fallen away massively the last 20 years. So
yeah, they need someone like Gakpo actually to have a really fruitful tournament, and then they could do pretty well.
They've got the names. They've definitely got the names, but I don't know how they play together as a team. I also don't know about their form. You guys know about their form lately?
I don't always think it matters either. Like it doesn't for these bigger nations. I don't think it matters as much. For a nation like Austria, where we talked about their form, I think that has an impact. But like these nations aren't really looking. These bigger nations aren't really looking to build form going into the tournaments. I don't think they want to peak when they get there.
Good point.
And they try and formulate a plan to do that rather than the other way around. So they've got Ronald Koeman as the coach, so he knows what he's doing. And I think, they might be a bit pedestrian. I would like sometimes the Dutch sides lack a bit of pace. Like obviously with those names that we mentioned being kind of X factors, they're mercurial. We don't really know what we're going to get from them on the international stage in Frimpong and Simmons, but they'll have a big bearing on how they do because they'll give them the dynamism that they need.
They'll be tough to beat though. They're very strong at the back. Van Dijk, De Vrij, Ake, Frimpong, Dumfries was great in the World Cup. There is a lot of talent in that backline.
Yeah,
they're going to need to be tough to beat though. Yeah, so that group is so difficult. I don't know why, given the World Cup and the world class players that France have, that France aren't ranked more highly or favourites for the tournament.
Favourites for me, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Everybody knows that. Yeah, I feel it goes without saying. So I feel like people maybe don't say that much. I mean, they've got all the names, but also they have Deschamps, who's been there for so long, and they play in a way, they don't blow teams away. They're very pragmatic in their approach because they've got these devastating players on the counter-attack. I don't think it's like necessarily what fans expect of them, and they get a lot of stick for that, but they win games.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're not favourites because they're being undervalued. I think England are being overhyped, which is affecting the betting. Like, if you're not an England fan, you're not really thinking they're going to win it. Personally,
have England ever had the favourites tag before?
I was thinking this in the car on the way, but I can't remember going into it like a major tournament watching football where we've been favourites
or called favourites. We know. We know. Yeah,
it's hard to know how we're perceived. I think. I think this England team is respected more internationally, but I think a lot of that is because some of those bigger nations don't have the players that they had previously.
Do you think also some of it is like having Kane in Germany and Jude Bellingham in Spain, like the actual England international profile, and Kane obviously was on fire and Bellingham was on fire. They weren't just in the teams; they were actually star players in the teams.
But arguably, we have the best player in the Premier League, Phil Foden, at the moment. Best player in the Bundesliga was Harry Kane, and the best player in the Spanish league was Bellingham. So we do have them stars across the three leagues, which probably makes us seem a bit scarier to those nations.
Apparently, Bellingham wasn't even the best player in his team.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why Vinny was given it for the Champions League, though. He was great in the Champions League.
That's it.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll come to England's chances later, but we're definitely probably regarded higher from international teams than we have been, certainly in my lifetime.
So let's finish up France's group then. Poland is the last team in there, which we know hard team. They're just horrible to play against, aren't they? It's not attractive football that I would expect, historically speaking. Not attractive football. They're looking to defend hard, rough teams up, play the long balls.
Yeah, their main weapon is Lewandowski up there. They struggle in tournament. I mean, I always think they're kind of respected in tournaments, and a lot of it is down to him. But from what I see, like they always struggle to get players around him. And he's always very isolated. Obviously, he's not getting any younger. So,
they're two best players for as long as I've watched Poland with Zelensky and Lewandowski, and they're both getting old. Like, I don't know if you watched the playoffs against Wales, but they didn't look great.
No,
they slipped by on penalties. So,
yeah,
they might cause problems just by being compact and being difficult to beat, but can't see them pulling up that many trees. And, you know, Lewandowski's great, but he's also 35.
No, I would say it's France's group to win, and then Netherlands and Austria duking it out.
I think the France versus Netherlands game will be great. And I think it affects us as well, because we get that side of the bracket in knockouts.
I'm trying to read my wall chart.
It's on Friday the 21st. Friday the 21st of June, 8 p.m. kickoff. What a nice little Friday night that will be.
I've just remembered that some third places get through as well.
Yeah.
So I've defaulted to top two go through, but that's not always the case because two third place groups on each side of the draw get through as well.
Yeah. So our sort of run to the final, we can play. So if we come top, we can play in the round of 16 Austria, Romania, or Turkey. The quarterfinal would be Italy. Semi-final could be France, and then the final could be Spain. If we finish top, if we finish back up, it gets very difficult. Round of 16, Germany, quarterfinal, Spain, semi-final, Netherlands, final could be France.
Well, and that's if those teams.
Yeah, if everything goes to plan.
Yeah. And it won't for one or two of them, but still, you've pretty much got to beat the top.
Yeah, that's what makes the
top
knockouts
2,
great.
3 in Europe. And I think Euros so good. I think Euros is so competitive.
Yeah, I mean, the Euros obviously in 2021 was great to watch because we played Germany in the quarterfinals, and obviously we were just coming out of COVID, so all their matches were quite memorable.
It was amazing because it was there were so many England games at Wembley as well. So I feel like because of that, it was very memorable. Like that Germany one obviously sticks out. It was they if we move on to England, because I feel like this is a good segue to England, because I feel like up until that Germany game in 2021, like there'd been this thing with Southgate that he hadn't beaten the big nation, and every time we'd gone up against one, we'd gone out, and that kind of felt like a watershed moment. But then it's gone back to every time we face a big nation, we go out. Like they obviously lost to Italy in that final, and got knocked out in the quarters by France at the World Cup.
Yeah, our group on paper looks okay, but I was just looking at Slovenia's form, and they look back in form. They've just beaten Portugal in a friendly. They've not lost any of their last 5. So there's going to be teams that you go, easy win, and they're going to provide quite a lot of trouble, I think, for us.
Oh, come on.
I genuinely think the way that we play, we don't blow teams away in these tournaments. They're not going to go, let's score 3 goals in the first half and let's take it easy.
But we will completely strangle Serbia, Denmark, and Slovenia. We'll get through easily.
We played Denmark 3 years ago in the semi-final and needed extra time in the penalty.
Yeah, sure, but like that Denmark side, I mean, are they any better than they were? I feel like England are better. I've heard people say that they think England are in a worse spot than they were for the previous World Cup, and I actually disagree. Like Foden is a better player, Bellingham is a better player, Kane is as good as he's ever been, Saka's a better player, Rice is a much better player. there are obviously questions about the defence, and part of it, a lot of it, is about that left back position. We are struggling there, but
We shouldn't have been though. But what on earth has happened there?
injuries.
Left backs made of glass, and we didn't have any backup options.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think Trippier was that bad there last night. I don't know if you watched it. He was,
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
He's captain, wasn't he?
He was captain. It was at St James's Park, so he captained the team.
He's nailed on.
I don't know, because Conser can play on both sides, Gomez can play on both sides. It depends how you want to set up the team. If you want to give a Trent at right back, you're going to need a Gomez or a Conser on the other side just to shore up that defence a little bit.
I think he goes with experience there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He has the players he likes, and Trippier's in that list.
If he can get Shaw fit, and if he can get Maguire fit, then it will be Pickford, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Shaw.
I prefer Gahey over Maguire, I think, but I like the rest of it.
Yeah, I just think he trusts Maguire so much, and he's backed him so much over the last 18 months. He's not now going to drop him, I don't think.
Yeah, he's not let him down either, to be fair. He's always pretty solid in the England shirt, so I won't be against it. But
I just think this left-back issue is exacerbated by, I think I've spoken about this before, but it's exacerbated by Southgate's lack of problem solving. There are solutions to this, but he just wants a fundamental left back in there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't really have one.
If we could, play the modern way and invert a fullback, you would just put three centre-halves, and you could probably play Brathwaite at left back, or Colwell, if he was fit, would be great there. And then put Trent in at right back, it'd be perfect. But we're not going to get there with Southgate. We're going to have someone shoehorned in at left back and Walker at right back. It's going to be that simple.
Yeah.
But we might have the quality up front just to blow teams out of the way. There is an argument to be said of, do you just get as many good attacking players on the pitch as you can and hope your defence holds out?
Yeah. I don't even think it's the two in midfield, isn't it? I think there's in the front four should be, for me, Foden, Bellingham, Saka, Kane, and Saka on the right and Kane up front. The other two are going to be fluid. I think it gives us a bit of it's not perfect, but there's plenty of goals there, I will say. Mm-hmm. And the key is Rice being disciplined, which I think is going to be hard because he hasn't had to play that way for Arsenal this year.
True.
I agree. But I don't know if you watched last night, but I don't think Adam Wharton did himself any problem. He looked unbelievable for the time he played.
He has got a bit, hasn't he?
I said this a few weeks ago. He is outrageous.
So I haven't seen much of him for Palace, but obviously everyone's raving about him. Last night was a friendly and he came on at a good time in the game. I caveat with that. But you can just see that he's got it.
I saw a tweet that said he's Adam Walton's plucked straight out of the 2010 Spain squad. He's just that good on the ball. Just turns, scans everything, pings your ball into the right place. And he's a little terror as well.
Yeah. He doesn't mind doing the dirty side of the game. There was a moment where he just kind of innocuously received the ball on the edge of the box, rolled his left foot over it, and just played it with his right foot. And it was just, oh, wow. That is, he's just got it. But Rob Dorset today, who's the Sky Sports England correspondent, he's got him not going. And he usually knows.
But the way that Southgate spoke about him yesterday, he said we don't have any other players like Adam Wharton.
I heard Southgate say that, and I thought, oh, he's going to take him. But then, Rob Dorset today has got a red, amber, green, and he's got Wharton in red.
No, wow. I feel like Gallagher's one of those Southgate players though that will sneak into the starting 11 of the first team, and everyone will go, "What are you doing?"
I think Gallagher is going to be the one. I think he'll play him next to Rice.
The Calvin Phillips 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they can't vacate the middle of the park.
No.
So they have to be disciplined. And sometimes by doing that, we shackle ourselves. We
do. And we also putting a pair of handcuffs on, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this year by not letting Declan Rice roam a little bit, which is unfortunate because he's been great. But I would love to see Wharton get a chance.
Well, it was when we we were talking about City's running, and it was City versus Palace, and he controlled the game. I know City won 4-2, but that was the first time I ever knew he existed, and he was controlling the game against City.
It's been an incredible 4 months for him. He's signed from Blackburn in January. He's only 20 years old, and he's just like absolutely no transition period, just stepped up perfectly and has made Palace a much better side.
I was reading before he went to Palace, Bayern Munich was super interested, and you can see why. And even now, I think they're still saying that he's quite high on their list. So I don't know how long he'll stay at Palace for, but you feel like another season where he plays every game could be perfect. Don't go ruin your career where you get 10 games a year and 10 off the bench. He needs to be playing games.
Yeah. So I would like to see him go, but I don't know if he will. I think there's other question marks about who Southgate takes. I think there's probably like 18, 19 nailed on. I think the big stories are, will he take Grealish or will he gamble on an Eze, for example?
Eze was good yesterday.
And I think the other question is around Watkins or Tony. And I think he'll only take one or the other.
I mean, Watkins had a much better season, but it's just never quite looked the same in an England shirt yet. Not that I think he's a better option. I'd rather take Watkins.
I just don't really feel like he's the right profile. I feel like Tony's a better profile for the way that England play and the way that England games go. Like Watkins, he wants space in behind to run into, whereas England games are all tight spaces, deep line defences, having to unpick locks, and that's just not his game.
But what you want to do if you've got 20 minutes to go and you're holding a lead, you need that almost like a counter-attacking player that he is. But I also before this, I said that I wouldn't take Bowen, but having watched him last night, he's super direct. I just think he'll miss out because you've got two players that are outside already. You've got Palmer and Saka, which is unfortunate. I thought Bowen played great, so I'd be upset if I've got 6 players that I don't think will go. I think the 7th is going to be difficult.
So have you highlighted them there?
Yeah, so James Trafford, Lewis Dunk. I don't think Joe Gomez goes. I think it was Gomez or Ezri Konsa because they can both play that utility role. Konsa won't go. And then I've got Curtis Jones not going and Grealish not going. So I'm one short there. But like you say, it's Tony or Watkins, isn't it?
But I don't know if he stays with Grealish because that's a Southgate thing to do, would be to keep Grealish. Yeah.
But Grealish didn't get minutes when he was in great form before he moved to City in the last Euros. Like, you can see him not taking him this time.
But he likes his personality as well as his, and he sees him as somebody who can influence the game from the bench. And we just know how much he rates experience at tournaments. And I think because of that, he'll take Grealish over Eze.
What I would say about Grealish is he's got experience. He is a proven match winner. And I don't think you need to be on form to be a match winner. And that's what I think tips the scales in his balance.
Is it only 7 that he needs to cut?
Yeah, his squad's at 26, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's got 33 at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's provisional 33.
When's the announcement? Friday?
Don't actually know. I assume it's just ahead of travelling to Germany. It's probably maybe a week before.
I thought it was on the 6th or something.
And you've only got 6 highlighted here, James. Is that right?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna stick my neck out and say Tony isn't going. I'd take Watkins instead. But I think you're right about Grealish. I'd probably undo that and throw in Eze in there. I think Eze was great last time, and I would love to take Eze. I know you mentioned about the experience. Southgate likes to trust players, and I don't think Eze was blooded early enough to then go pick him for a major tournament.
So basically, for Wharton to go, he only has to take one of Tony or Watkins. Can't take both.
Yeah, because Curtis Jones won't go, and the rest of those midfielders will go. For me, the biggest headache for him after last night is what on earth do you do with Trent? Because he played great in centre mid and at right back, but no one seems to put him in a starting 11.
In my opinion, he could play in midfield against the side where we're going to have all the ball. So like Slovenia, Serbia, we're going to have all the ball and we're going to need him because I thought he progressed the ball really nicely yesterday. Some some really nice like direct passes through the middle to kind of progress the ball. And he always looks very classy. I think if it got intense in there, he would quickly be overwhelmed. But
I agree with that. But say you start the tournament against your Serbias, your Slovenias, your Denmarks, and you played 3 out of 3, and Trent's played all 3, and you've won them. You could then start him in a knockout. You don't change that midfield for a knockout game, do you? And then you get to a point where your midfield's maybe a little overrun, and you have to either make decisions, withdraw him, which I don't think any other nation in the world would take a player of Trent's quality off, and reinforce the midfield with a proper midfielder and drop back to right back, or you just let him stick it out. I just think if he starts against those smaller teams and plays well, you don't change it going into a knockout game. So, yeah, I think that is the big, someone was saying yesterday on the television, he gets into every other nation. Like, why can we not find a spot for this player? If he plays in a Spain or an Italy or a Germany, he's not getting highlighted every week that he can't defend. Like, he just gets slammed in the British press for that defensive side of it that has probably become more of an issue than it is.
I mean, yeah, for Liverpool, he's always right back on the team sheet, but that isn't where he plays, is it? He steps into midfield and plays.
That's really recently, though, isn't it? That's only the inverted side of Liverpool.
Yeah. It's only like back end of this season, right? But he can obviously do that, and I think that's what I mean about Southgate's kind of problem solving. I think he could easily play a concert or a gay with Maguire and Stones, and then have Trent as the right back stepping forward a little bit. But I don't know. It's a hard thing to coach. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to apply. So doing it in the short period of time that he has with these players, I do sympathise with that.
My main problem with Trent and the conversation about him not being able to play right back is before this year, he played as a normal right back for a club that has won everything. Well, he's done it. He's won a Prem, he's won a Champions League, Club World Cup, FA Cup, League Cup. You can't say he can't play right back. It's for Gareth Southgate to work out.
All right, well, we will check in on the England squad maybe next week. We'll have an update then.
Shall we do some quick sweepstakes?
Well, do the sweepstake, or we can do some predictions. What do you want to do first?
Predictions.
Go predictions. Come on then. Who we'll start with? We'll start with underachievers and overachievers. Just one sentence on both. James, over to you.
I'm going to go overachievers, the Netherlands, and underachievers, I will go Spain.
Does Netherlands overachieving mean they win it then?
Well, they're not in the top 6 favourites to win it, so
I think if they got to the semis, that would be an overachievement.
And you said Spain for underachieving, James.
Yeah, I think they'll just lack. They've got some great young players. I just think they'll lack a bit of know-how to close out games, especially they've got some great players like Rodri obviously knows how to win a game, but if you're playing 3 17-year-olds, I think you're going to struggle if it comes to a bit of a tight game.
Go on, Joel.
Well, I want to say Spain as underachievers, but I will say, can I say Belgium?
Yeah, they're 6th favourites to win out.
Under or over?
Under. I think they'll go out in the group.
Don't hate that.
Big call.
And then overachievers. I'll go Scotland.
Love that.
Feel like they could sneak through.
Did they fail to beat Gibraltar last night?
No.
What was the score in there?
I said that quite confidently, but
yeah.
Oh, they did. They won 2-0. They actually played them in Portugal.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of... maybe the reason I've said that is because I got them in the sweepstake at work, so I kind of want them to overachieve.
Matt, what about you?
Well, I'm going to go underachiever Germany, and that would be brutal. But I feel like the pressure's on them. And my overachiever, I've been talked into it tonight, and I'm going to call it Austria to progress. You guys have, with your extensive football knowledge compared to mine, you've talked them up to me. I'm bought in. I'm Team Austria. All right, best player and top scorer. Let's put them together.
Best player. I'm going to go with Jude Bellingham, and top goal scorer I will go Mbappe.
Yeah, worried you'd say Kane. Go on, Joel.
Harry Kane, top goal scorer. And I'll go Foden, best player.
So you think we're going to win it then?
I think we're going to win it.
That is a very patriotic prediction. I think for Harry Kane to be top goal scorer, I think England have to be at least in the final.
Well, I don't know, because he won top goal scorer at the 2018 one. Yeah.
Four
Did he? What did he score?
Nil.
Six penalties. No goals from open play. Brilliant.
Yeah,
We you're an Arsenal fan.
we need 3 or 4 pens. 3 or 4 pens, and he'll get 2 or 3 more, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, probably right. For me, best player, I'm going to go against you here, Joel, because I'm going to go Doku.
I feel like the silence says it all. Don't edit that silence out.
So you think the best player is going to come from Belgium?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Doku. I think Doku on form at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, right. And top scorer, I'm going to go for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wow.
Don't hate that.
I don't hate it either.
Not really.
I'm actually thinking that Portugal are the real underdogs of the tournament. They're not being talked about a lot. And
we haven't talked about them, but deep
really
squad.
good squad. Bruno, Bernardo, Jota, Ronaldo, João Gomez. They've got a great squad.
Hey, don't wheel back on your predictions now, guys.
Well, we've got the sweepstake first.
Well, winner of the tournament, Joel's gone England. James?
I'm going to go England.
I'm going to go France. That feels like we've gone for very easy predictions, not very bold ones, but you got to go with your gut.
Yeah,
I've set up spin the wheel. Shall I share my screen? And I'm going to try and verbally describe what's on screen. So what we can do is we can have 4 or 5 teams each, or we can just have one team each.
I think it's better to have one team for a sweepstake.
Can you see this? Can you see the wheel?
I can, but the viewers, the listeners can't. So
okay, well, listeners, I'm showing a wheel and it has 23 countries' names on it. So okay. Picture that. All right, who wants the first team?
You draw it first, and then
we'll go age before beauty, Matt. You go first.
Okay, KJ's not here, so we're doing age before beauty. In honor of KJ not being here, I am spinning the wheel for KJ, and he has got not Portugal.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, Spain, not bad.
Hell of a country.
I mean, 2 of us wanted them as underachievers. So,
yeah. In age order now and beauty, Matt. Oh, piss off! Denmark. What a stitch up! We're doing 4 teams each, yeah.
No,
at least you can root against Harry Kane when he plays you.
Age order and still beauty order. Joel.
Gosh.
Oh, it just rolled off Portugal and it has landed on the Czech Republic. Czechia.
Sounds like we're all going out in the group stage.
Yeah.
This is why I think it's not a bad shout.
Sweepstakes.
Okay, whatever. All right.
Unless they get a terrible team.
Youngest and least beautiful. With Croatia. James Bray.
Got the oldest squad. Maybe we should do 2.
Can we do 2?
Yeah, we'll do 2.
Can we do 2?
Yes, do 2.
Okay, all right. Croatia, removed. KJ's second team. Spin the wheel. Here we go.
Did KJ get first time? Spain. Oh, what?
KJ has got Spain.
Right, one team each.
And England. England for KJ. All right. Spinning the wheel for Matt. Oh,
that's not bad.
Hungary. I've got Denmark and Hungary. I don't think I'm the odds-on favourite to win the sweepstake. Next up, Joel. First team, Joel. What was your first team?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, and it's not quite going to tick round to Italy, so Joel's landed on Switzerland.
2 shockers there.
We did 3 teams each. And James.
Come on, give me something good. Oh,
James has landed on Scotland. Scotland in between Germany and Italy on the wheel. So,
who was my first team?
Croatia.
Czech Republic.
Croatia.
No, mine was Czech Republic, James.
Oh, you got Croatia, James? No.
Yeah, that's the old boys, right? So no one's winning then apart from KJ. Got work. Top work.
Yeah, KJ's going to win that. Yeah.
We not keep spinning? No.
No, 2 teams is good.
Okay. All right. 2 teams each. Who did I get? Denmark and someone else.
Denmark.
Hungary. Brilliant. Oh, well, I think it was more fun spinning the wheel than it's going to be cheering for those teams in the Euros. All right. We'll close it off for tonight. If you've enjoyed listening, give us a like, subscribe, and rate us 5-star on Spotify. Get in touch with us at allsportspods@gmail.com. And we will catch you on the next one. Thanks, James.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Joel.
Cheers, Matt. Thanks, guys.